Close your eyes. Start a journey to a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before. Close your eyes and let music set you free. Just as the Phantom in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera entices Christine to let music guide her through her life, so I have also allowed music to lead me through mine. In my short 17 years, life has taken me through many twists and turns, several phases that I've had to endure, and many changes that I've gone through as well. And in each of those changes, phases, turns, and twists, I can say that my music choice has changed because of them. If you were to look at my playlists over the last 10 or 15 years, you'd see that the music that I listen to from different ages that I've been or different areas of life that I've been through, they all correlate to what I've gone through. The music that I listen to, the music that I play, and the music that I write all have changed through each area of life that I've gone through. My discovery of music started when I was about 8 years old. During this time, I would listen to many musicals. I would live my life in song, my mom would tell me. If you were to look at my Pandora stations from the time, you probably wouldn't find anything other than Wicked, Phantom of the Opera, Hairspray, and Les Miserables. My sisters and I would learn the entirety of musicals together, and we would perform them for our family. Our favorite to do was Les Miserables, and we often joke now how depressing we must have been as children. Music was the way that my sisters and I were able to connect, and still to this day, it's one of the best ways that we connect still. At 6 and 7 years old, my younger sisters were still interested in playing with things like Barbies and their stuffed animals. I was 8 years old at the time, and I was no longer interested in such things. Music was the way that we were able to still bond together and not have to argue about it very often. Just as the areas of life that I have gone through have changed the music that I listen to, so do those areas change the kind of music that I have played. At about 6 years old, I started taking piano lessons from my Aunt Dana. She taught me everything I know about the basics. She taught me all my scales, she taught me how to do hand-warming exercises, and she even taught me how important knowing the basics was. Little did I know that those would be so important after she moved away and got married. In middle school, the days of Beethoven's Fifth were long over, and I walked into the world of jazz. My new teacher, Mr. Tripp, taught me that the knowledge that I had from my early piano playing days were so important to explore the creative side of making music. He told me, if you know the basics, you can do anything on a keyboard. Mr. Tripp taught me such valuable skills. He taught me that I needed to put emotion into the music that I was making, and that those emotions could be felt by the audience, that I wanted the audience to feel what I was feeling when I was playing music. He also taught me how to lead worship on Sunday mornings, which is what I do now as a musician. And he also taught me that critique is a good thing. If you can't take critique well, then you can't grow as a musician well. Being a musician is an incredible experience. Being a songwriter is one of the best ways that I've gotten into touch with my creative side. I can honestly say that the times that I have written music, both lyrics and instrumentation, I can count them on about one hand. It's not an easy process for me. It's something that I've really had difficulty with, so I don't ever force it. If I feel that I'm able to, then I will gladly do it. But on a regular basis, my own kind of music making is writing poetry. Each night before I go to sleep, I try to write at least one stanza of a poem, just to keep in touch with my creative side. It's what I consider making my own music. While my interpretation of what creating music means may not be the norm, it is a fair rendering of it, I believe. Mr. Tripp taught me that art, or music more specifically, is a universal language with a billion different dialects. I just speak a different dialect than any other musician will. In conclusion, I'd like to quote Naya Kite, who sums up how I feel about music and my life generally. Music has such an important influence on so many of our everyday lives. It's what we bond over, it's what we apply to our lives, and what we listen to when we're alone but don't want to be trapped in silence. Without music, imagine how boring our lives would be. We wouldn't have anything to dance to with our friends. We wouldn't have a creative outlet to express our feelings in the way that music allows us to. Without music, I wouldn't be able to express how I feel, I wouldn't be able to bond with the people that I've bonded with, and I honestly wouldn't be the person that I am today. Thank you.